All right, now, what was significant about that to you?
I knew that Jay Shot or John Smith was a close associate of the leader of 4PF, Dominique Lil Baby Jones.
Today, we're delving deeply into Lil Baby, the boss of 4PF, and how a simple music video shoot allegedly sparked a full-blown gang war that killed 2 innocent children, and now has the Atlanta Police Department shooting at one of the biggest names in rap. So, back in May 2024, Lil Baby was filming a music video in Atlanta. It may seem like just another day in the life of a multi-millionaire rapper, but according to the police, this wasn't just any hood. This was allegedly territory claimed by a rival gang called the Goodfellas, specifically their subset known as Only My Family OMF. The Atlanta police claimed that by filming there, Baby was essentially taunting his ops, knowing damn well he was in enemy territory, as one commentator put it.
The optics of a multi-millionaire rolling through a neighborhood in his bulletproof truck and his thousand security guards going to an op neighborhood, filming a music video, antagonizing that community, rolling away in his Lamborghini and his 1,000 security guards, and then leaving that community to destruction. There's something wrong with that optics.
Oh, it was in his op? It wasn't in his neighbor?
But while filming was going down, something crazy happened. Shots were fired. 3 people got hit, but they all survived. Lil Baby himself wasn't injured. According to the police narrative, this is what went down. After that day, the video shoot getting shot up pissed off Lil Baby and his crew. In retaliation, police claimed that members of 4PF 4 Pockets Full, which is Lil Baby's label, and alleged gang went and shot a man named Trevante Turner on June 29th, 2024. Now here's where it gets even more tragic. After Trevante Turner got killed, members of the Goodfellas gang allegedly decided to get revenge. On July 2nd, 2024, just after midnight, they allegedly opened fire at Sparks Apartments on Spark Street, SW in Atlanta. 13-year-old Layman Freeman, who had literally just turned 13 that day, 13-year-old Jackety Davis, and an 11-year-old named Dantavius Davis, who was shot in the foot but survived. Tragically, both Layman and Jackety died from their injuries. Police later found evidence suggesting this attack was coordinated by an incarcerated OMF leader named Keontae Midnight Sanders from Hancock State Prison, who allegedly used contraband cell phones and social media to orchestrate the hit. Fast forward to February 26, 2025. The Atlanta police held a press conference announcing the arrest of 7 suspects: Keontae Sanders, Richard Hollis, Reginald Thomas, Ethan Mobley, Marcus Crawford, Traden Crawford, and Ali Caldwell. During this press conference, Homicide Commander Major Ralph Wolf dropped a bomb without naming names.
Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life. Gang violence that was orchestrated by adults in our city, and cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions. And you know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions.
During the court proceedings for the Goodfellas gang members, an Atlanta gang investigator named Marissa Vivavero took the stand and presented some damning evidence. She testified that in a wiretap conversation, someone mentioned that Lil Baby had tickets on people's heads, essentially meaning he had bounties out for certain individuals. Although the police officer did not specifically name Lil Baby, Channel 2 Action News in Atlanta obtained arrest warrants that confirmed they were talking about Dominique Jones, also known as Lil Baby.
We just heard somebody say these folks got tickets on these people. We know what's going on. First of all, who was that said that about the tickets?
Unc, the unidentified male that was being referred to as Unc.
And he's speaking with Mr. Sanders?
Correct.
What, in your experience, do you know what tickets are?
A price on somebody's head.
What do you mean by what do you mean on somebody's head? What is that?
Like a bounty.
To have them arrested?
Harmed or killed.
And who were they referring to in that portion of the call?
They were saying that they had heard that Dominique Jones had tickets on a lot of people's heads.
Dominique Jones had wanted to have people harmed.
Correct.
Now hold up. There's more to this story than just what the police are saying. Lil Baby and his legal team have strongly denied any involvement in these crimes. His attorneys Drew Finling and Marissa Goldberg released statements calling the police's accusations complete and total nonsense. They argued that the location for a major music video shoot isn't decided by one person, but by a professional team, and that it was disgraceful to suggest Baby couldn't shoot a video in his hometown, a place he loves and has continued to uplift. Lil Baby himself addressed the situation on Instagram, posting, "Thanks for all the concerns. Please don't be misinformed by fake news. I'm overly good. The story gets even more layered when we consider Lil Baby's past. Before his music career took off, he did time in prison around 2014 to 2016 for drug and weapon charges. He started his music career after getting out, dropping his debut mixtape Perfect Timing in 2017. Since then, he's blown up to become one of the biggest rappers in the game, but has had a few other legal issues along the way. February 2019, he was arrested in Atlanta for reckless driving, eluding police, and failure to signal. In July 2021, during Paris Fashion Week, he was detained in France for allegedly possessing cannabis, but was released after paying a fine. More recently, in August 2024, he was arrested in Las Vegas for carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, though his attorneys noted he had a valid Georgia permit that Nevada doesn't recognize. But this latest situation is on a whole different level. We're not just talking about some minor charges here. The police are trying to connect him to a chain of events that led to the deaths of 2 children. That's serious business. One thing that stands out to me is what this dude said about the situation.
I'm not gonna lie, this is absurdity to heights I've never seen before. They're doing all of this, claiming that a gang war was started because Lil Baby filmed a music video in the ops territory. Now, I'll be real. Do I believe that Lil Baby should have been more responsible? Because like the optics of you being a multi-millionaire coming to these people's neighborhood in your multi-million-dollar bulletproof trucks, bringing a lot of chaos there and then leaving to go to your mansion, the optics is horrible, bro. But to paint it as this man started a gang war and he has to be held responsible for it, it's kind of like, bro, like, come on, bro.
Those who are unaware, RICO stands for Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Federal law that was originally created to take down mob bosses is now used to go after gangs, including those with alleged ties to the rap game. This situation began with a music video shoot that allegedly sparked a series of events leading to tragedy. However, what makes this story even more bizarre is that the police are not just attempting to directly blame Lil Baby for these deaths.
They done took an L in there with Thug, and now they taking Lil Baby, who's been very positive. Last I saw, he just bought a strip mall in there, regutting it, create new jobs for the community. I don't hear Lil Baby caught up in anything negative. He's been doing his music. He had a #1 album.
They're pursuing what appears to be a RICO case against 4PF, but this is where it gets serious. Detective Marissa Vivi-Verito, who is referred to as an Atlanta gang investigator, has been presenting evidence during the Goodfellas members' court proceedings that purports to link Lil Baby to gang activities. Some of this evidence is pretty damning if true. To begin, she testified about an Instagram page that belonged to Keontae Sanders, also known as Midnight, and contained direct messages, including one that vanished between Sanders and a man named Mr. Smith. When asked about the significance of this, Vito said,
I knew that J-Shot or John Smith was a close associate of the leader of 4PF, Dominique Lil Baby Jones.
This is important because they are attempting to link Lil Baby to other people involved in alleged gang activities. But the real bombshell came when Viverito showed wiretap evidence purportedly showing someone talking about how Lil Baby had placed bounties on people's heads. In the wiretap, an unnamed man known as UNC was talking to Sanders Midnight about tickets people had on their heads. When asked what tickets meant, Viverito explained that it was a price on someone's head, similar to a bounty for someone to be hurt or killed. When asked who they were referring to during the call, Viverito said they were saying Dominique Jones' Lil Baby had tickets on a lot of people's heads. Of course, if this is true, this is serious business. There are reasons to be wary of some of these claims. As one commentator stated.
Correct.
All right, moving on.
To me, this is nonsense and BS, bruh. Ops being paranoid because they are out here harming people who are close to me, being paranoid that me, the bagman, me, the rich rapper, may have some money on their heads because they're doing foul things. That's your proof that I'm involved in this gang war? That's your proof that I should be brought in for a RICO? I think it's insane, bruh, right? Now, listen, bruh. At this point, bro, we gotta stop using like Verito the Vixen as a gang expert or as anybody credible, bruh. Like, have y'all forgotten like the YSL trial where even the judge got frustrated at Verito because Verito was on that stand, bruh, spewing nonsense, dodging questions, being uncredible?
There is also the question of whether the authorities are attempting to construct a case based on tenuous connections rather than reliable evidence.
There was wiretaps being played, and on one of the wiretaps, somebody mentioned that Lil Baby had tickets, aka a bag, a bounty, on some people's heads. If they know what the ops did to you, they know what you did to the ops. That's the code of the streets, people. So don't ever celebrate your ops getting a RICO, bruh. That just means
for
that
real, they coming for you now.
Now, if we look at the receipts for Trevante Turner, the police report when he passed away, if you look at the literal police report, they listed 4PF as a criminal street gang which laid claims to the Oakland City neighborhood of Atlanta.
Fans of Lil Baby are particularly concerned about reports that a RICO indictment may be imminent. According to one source, Sean Hoover, who oversees the Georgia Public Defenders Council specialized unit in gang cases, stated that the office is actively preparing for a racketeering indictment on the 4PF and OMF cases. He expects Lil Baby to be indicted alongside others. Other troubling development in this case involves Keontae Davis, who previously identified another 4PF member, 4PF Nate Nathan Benford, as the shooter in a separate murder case. Davis's testimony resulted in 4PF Nate receiving a 40-year prison sentence. Davis was placed on probation. However, in a shocking turn of events, Keontae Davis was murdered on April 1st, 2025, less than a mile from the original crime scene, according to reports from the Fulton Medical Examiner. Some speculate that Davis's death occurred at a time when authorities appear to be assembling evidence against 4PF.
The man that was taken to the hospital and succumbed to his injuries, that man was identified by the Fulton Medical Examiner as 27-year-old Keontae Davis.
Bro, this is power.
Police have been constructing a case that appears to treat 4PF as a criminal organization, rather than just a record label. But let's face it, we don't know if there is any connection between these events, and it would be reckless to assume so without proof. In fact, there are reports that Lil Baby has actually stopped using the 4PF name, rebranding as Glass Window Entertainment under Motown and Capitol, perhaps in an effort to disassociate himself from these gang accusations.
Didn't he get rid of the whole 4PF thing? Like,
all of that. So, but
the label name has changed?
Yes.
The way the Atlanta Police Department appears to be handling this case in public is another factor that is making it more complicated. Their February press conference, they made it clear that they were referring to a rapper they held accountable for the series of events, but they did not specifically name Lil Baby. Unconventional approach has drawn criticism.
Lil Baby was someplace he knew he wasn't supposed to be. I've never heard law enforcement say that a person is somewhere they're not supposed to be.
And it's almost like a correctional officer type vibe, because normally, like, you're used to the idea of CEOs kind of putting different people from different gangs in different sections of the prison to avoid problems, but this is like they're supposing that Lil Baby should just be respecting the gang lines of the city, which is not something you typically hear police trying to enforce.
Some detractors are wondering if the police are attempting to use Lil Baby as a scapegoat for Atlanta's larger problems with gang violence.
I don't know. They playing games. Interesting point. And before we play the clip,
first clip, Josh.
To me, like, the fact that this isn't transparent to everybody already is insane, because every single time there's an influx of crime, there's a back and forth, and they're able to tie it to a major artist. They're going to do so for publicity purposes, for budgeting purposes. It's a move that the mayor's office and the DA's office does consistently, particularly in places like Cobb County and around there in ATL. So I'm not at all surprised that this is going on. They're just trying to use Baby and vilify him regardless. But the other side of that coin is...
Wait, pause. Use him what? And vilify him?
The fact that this case appears to be moving toward a RICO indictment is among its most concerning features. In a RICO case, prosecutors only need to demonstrate that the defendant was a member of an organization that committed crimes as part of a pattern.
Keontae Davis already identified 4PF Nate. It should have stopped there. But it didn't. Right? Because you know what the prosecutors did? They tacked on gang charges on top of the murder. And they did that specifically to tie this 4PF. It's a pattern here. Whenever a shooting or act of violence happens, it's not enough to just charge the person with the crime individually. No, they tack on gang charges.
Gang enhancements.
So it can be on record that this murder was done under 4PF's behalf to further the gang.
Not that the defendant committed crimes directly. This trend of adding gang enhancements to charges may be paving the way for a larger RICO case against 4PF and Lil Baby. Could be a game changer for one of the biggest names in rap. What's particularly crazy is that some of the evidence doesn't even imply that Lil Baby ordered any crimes. For instance, arrest warrants for the Goodfella members who allegedly killed the two 13-year-olds didn't mention that Lil Baby ordered any crimes, instead focusing on his alleged role in escalating tensions. In an even stranger turn of events, there is evidence that Lil Baby may have been a target himself. According to reports, Keontae Sanders, the alleged OMF leader, had planned to extort Lil Baby for $5. Fallout. What's next for Lil Baby? First, if Lil Baby is indeed hit with a RICO indictment, it could be disastrous for his career. We've seen what happened with Young Thug, who spent more than a year in jail while fighting his RICO case. Even if Lil Baby eventually beats the charges, being locked up for a long time could derail his momentum in the rap game, as one commentator put it.
If you are a Lil Baby fan, it's gonna be a hard couple of months for you, bruh. Because this Lil Baby situation feels like the Atlanta police. They're just committed to trying to get Lil Baby locked up. It don't matter, even if they feel like they can't win the case, getting him off the streets for a year or two as he fights this RICO is their goal. Shout out my guy Bradford Cohen, man. He's Kodak Black's lawyer, Drake's lawyer. He actually gave a take on his Lil Baby situation that I believe it's pretty much what's gonna happen. So he says they're trying to say that Lil Baby is going to get indicted. We all know how that goes in Atlanta. Those prosecutors can't get out of their own way. Another clown show if that happens.
This suggests that rather than being solely a perpetrator in this conflict, Lil Baby might have also been viewed as a potential victim. The fact that some legal experts are already discussing this case as though an indictment is inevitable is especially worrisome. According to reports, the Georgia Public Defender's Office is already training attorneys to represent defendants in the anticipated 4PF RICO case, indicating that they are fairly certain that charges will be filed soon.
Gonna hold you and your associates accountable because Lil Baby filmed a music video in the hood of a rival and the music video got shot up. So Baby and them responded back by shooting and killing one of the rivals. Then the rivals responded back by shooting and killing two 13-year-olds. Atlanta PD is blaming Lil Baby for that, claiming that Lil Baby is responsible because he filmed a music video in Goodfellas territory. And then we sit back and we watch them arrest Goodfellas for RICO, and then Lil Baby name is being mentioned throughout the entire grand jury. It's like, bro, is this about Goodfellas or about Lil Baby? It don't make sense.
Now, a lot of fans on social media are calling this a witch hunt. When the news first broke about Lil Baby being linked to these shootings, many fans came to his defense questioning how he could be held responsible for others' actions. One ex-user commented, "So since y'all can't control y'all city, it's Lil Baby fault." While another asked, "Arrest him for what? Why aren't they finding the shooter?" Sentiment among many fans seems to be that police are scapegoating Lil Baby rather than focusing on the actual perpetrators. Some fans even suggested that Lil Baby could sue for defamation, with one commenting, "Wasn't even there defamation lawsuit coming." Of course not. All reactions have been supportive. Minority of commenters do think Lil Baby should be held accountable, with one saying, "Lock him up. Please, he's a person than a musician." But overall, there seems to be a lot of skepticism about police narrative. What's particularly interesting is how many fans are focused on the legal ramifications of these allegations, showing a deeper engagement with the legal process, beyond just defending their favorite artist. Even in the media and among commentators, there are very different takes on this situation. Some are critical of the police approach, questioning why they would publicly implicate Lil Baby without charging him.
Saying that shooting a music video is not against the law. Shooting a music video wherever you want is not against the law. But it just seems odd to make those allegations, like Charlamagne said, without charging somebody. Like, it's almost like they're spitting gossip. Like, charge somebody. Don't say somebody's cowardly. Don't say none of that stuff. You charge them, and then you could have those claims, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, I still don't know what's going on.
Others note that popular rappers appear to be the focus of law enforcement, particularly in Atlanta.
Not cool. It's definitely wild. So I need the deep dive. I need like some of these YouTube detectives to let us know what exactly is going on with this gang war. Because if I'm gonna point at Lil Baby and say like, no, this was definitely inflammatory and intentional, I would need a lot better evidence of such. But as is, I just don't think the cops should be like mandating that gang members stay out of each other's neighborhoods, even for professional purposes.
Young Thug situation, whatever was going on like that, whatever fire was burning, they put a lot of that out, bro. Ain't nobody stupid, ain't nobody crazy.
One of the most concerning aspects of this whole situation is how it could be part of a broader trend of using RICO laws against rappers. We've seen it with Young Thug and YSL, now potentially with Lil Baby and 4PF. Some see this as a targeted effort to take down successful black artists. But regardless of whether this case is legitimate or not, it raises serious questions about the relationship between hip-hop gang culture and the criminal justice system. Lil Baby has achieved enormous success as a rapper, buying property in Atlanta and creating jobs for the community. There are these persistent allegations about his ties to gang activity. It's case also highlights the challenges faced by artists who come from difficult backgrounds. Lil Baby served time in prison before his music career took off, has been open about his past involvement in drug dealing, but many fans believe he's turned his life around, focusing on his music and business ventures rather than street life. Lil Baby's attorneys have emphasized his commitment to community upliftment and philanthropy, noting that the victims in this case came from his neighborhood, that he's devastated by the situation. They argue that it's unfair to blame him for a tragedy that he had no direct role in causing. On the other hand, if the allegations about Impy placing bounties on people's heads are true, that would suggest a continued involvement in dangerous and illegal activities. It's important to remember that at this point these are just allegations based on wiretap conversations where people were discussing what they had heard about Lil Baby, not direct evidence of his actions. As of now, Lil Baby has not been charged with any crimes related to these shootings. The focus remains on the arrested Goodfellas members who are facing charges for the murder of the two 13-year-olds. The looming threat of a RICO indictment hangs over Lil Baby's head. What's particularly fascinating about this case is how it reflects broader issues in our society. There's the question of whether successful rappers have a responsibility to completely cut ties with their former neighborhoods and associates, if that means being called fake or accused of going Hollywood. One commentator,
Well, let's just wait till next year to start. You know what I mean, though? But it don't register in their head like that, folks. They think this what they have to do. They think that if they don't do this, they lames. If they don't do this, they not real street. If they don't do this, they won't be accepted in the hood. If they don't do this, they can never claim 4PF or whatever else again. And then they go to jail and they think going to jail is like a badge of honor because they get out from going to jail and they wear it like it's a goddamn, you feel me? Like they did something for real. They wear that jacket, that jail jacket, like, yeah, I've been to prison. I'm a real street. You ain't no real street. You ain't tough as me. I've been to prison. I level 5 camp, nigga. I was on prison. Hey, you time out.
Just wait it out.
Literally, bro.
Just the
Go get some money somewhere.
brother.
crucial point regarding the duty of successful artists distance themselves from possible legal issues. There's also the controversy surrounding whether the police are enforcing gang boundaries rather than concentrating on reducing violence. Additionally, there's the larger problem of how the entertainment industry frequently glorifies street life. Actual people suffer the consequences.
But way before I even sniffed some money, I disassociated myself with all of that. And this ain't like it, bro. For a long time, Mako changing. He on some weirdos. He on some spirituals. They said a lot. You feel me? Behind closed doors. They said it to me through text, whatever. But fast forward, I'm finna be 27 this year. Fast forward about 6, 7 years, I'm rich and I'm disassociated with anything that got to do with the streets. I don't have to worry about the police at all. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got the police is cool with, I'm cool with the popo. I get pulled over, I'll drop my windows. Hey, how you doing, officer? Yeah, I'm sorry for speeding. Here you go, my license. Hey man, just slow it down, bro. Nice car, by the way. You feel me? I get pulled over by the police, they be like, hey, my son watch your videos, keep talking, keep clowning them street fools, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep clowning them, man. I'm gonna let you off with a warning, bro. And let me get a picture. That really happened in real life, you know what I'm saying, though? So it's like, I feel like rappers be trying to keep it too real and they don't want they old friends and they old hood to be like, oh, he went Hollywood, he fake. You need to go Hollywood. If they want to call you fake, let them call you fake. You outgrew these circumstances. You don't need to stay around, bro. It's okay. It's cool. Start making some songs about being rich. Them the songs I like anyway. Start making songs about how you was in the streets but you got rich. Or if you gonna tell something about the streets, tell stories about the streets. Don't be getting on here as Lil Baby and you talking about some I'm Crip and I'm 60 and I'm Crip and woody whoop and they snitched and shout out to the guys, free the guys and all this, and I'm pulling up to the hood every day and I'm giving money out and shooting videos in the hood doing all this, because even if you have nothing to do with nothing, you associate, you guilty by association, folks. You feel me? And the police look at it the same way. So hopefully that don't get locked up, but man, it ain't looking good, for I'm sorry.
Please share your opinions in the comments section below. If you enjoy this video, please click the one that appears on your computer so that we can continue. Do you think Lil Baby is being unfairly singled out or should be held responsible for his apparent involvement in this gang conflict?